Hello, I am Kyoka, the awkward black nomad. It has been a while, hasn't it? It's been a while. I've been on a little summer hiatus, just going on vacation, celebrating my birthday. We have a house guest that is my sister's dog back there, Gata, in my lap. Bernie and Frank are in my lap. Um, but it's been a minute. I have a special guest today, but she is having some technical issues, and so she's getting set up. But I appreciate your patience. It's a little ghetto around here. So we're going to take our time. We'll figure it out. We can just chop it up for a little bit as people filter into the room. As I said, I'm Kyoka, the awkward black nomad. I'm a writer. I'm a dog mom, and I travel solo. My channel is a place for me to talk about my experiences bopping around with my dogs. Um, we have traveled across Europe. We've been to 10 countries together. It's also a place for me to bring on other travelers and expats all around the world. They talk about living lives outside of the US. Is there a little echo? I could take my headphones off. Let me know. Should I take these out? Can you hear me? Is that better? My co host, Yvonne McBride, is in the room. Hi. And also, Buki. Hi, Angela. I gave y'all a heads up. Listen. I've been away. So the people not tapped in the way they usually are. Okay? I feel like I said that. I feel like I said I was going live today. Is there still an echo? What you think? Y'all let me know in the chat. Like the video, please. Oh, hi, Soheb. Now it's better. Hi. Sohab is my friend in Abu Dhabi who I met in China. I think I'll just do this without headphones because it seems like the sound is better. I just didn't want anyone to pick up my background noise because I'm doing laundry. Because black folk, we clean on Sundays, so I've been cleaning. We're just waiting a little bit for my guest to get set up, everybody. If you have any questions for Sharita, drop them in the chat. Like the video. Hi, Ty. It's the late hair for me. I'm giving a little. We're grown around here. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. I was like, let me just do something different. Sound is better without the headphones. Okay, I'll keep the headphones off. But now I feel like I should get a mic or something. I do have a mic. This is crazy. That's why I was telling Sharita when she was getting set up, I was like, it's a little ghetto over here. Okay, we never really have things put together, really. So this is just... But we're going to have a chat. I found Sharita online. We connected on social media. I have not gone up over the summer. I have not. But you know what I have been doing? I have been resting, and I've been on vacation. In the last, I think, when did the hiatus start? May or June? So since then I've been to Mexico, China, Colombia. I'm going to Ghana next month. So yeah, I just feel refreshed. I enjoy not being in the US. Oh, here she is. She's joining us. Okay, hold on for 1 second, guys. Get it together. Hello. Hi, we're live. How are you?
Okay, hold on. I didn't realize that. I got the dish.
The dishwasher. Oh, the sound is going out a little bit. Can you take your
Is it?
can you take your earphones off?
Of course.
We'll see how it works. We'll ask the...
Then you're gonna hear the dishwasher. I'm gonna turn it off.
I don't hear a dishwasher. I don't hear anything. Crystal.
Okay.
Everybody, as you filter in, please like the video, drop a hi in the chat. You know, Black folk, we speak when we come into the room, so let me know that you're there so I'm not talking to myself. Okay, I do talk to myself, but if you're here, just say hi. Yes, I've been on the move. This is my first live since coming back off of a little bit of a hiatus. I've been traveling for the summer, and Sharita, are you ready or no?
No, I'm ready. I just
Oh,
can't see what you see. So
oh,
anyone
you don't see the
who's
chat.
no, that's why that's why I'm just like waiting.
It's okay. I think it's on another screen. We have different screens on this program, so like, it should be either in the top corner of yours or.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
But I'm so happy to connect with you. I started following you when you had a post about you were ranking the countries to date in, and I was like, I need to talk to my homegirl about this list because I have notes. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I was that post wasn't really planned. I was literally just sitting around one morning and I was just like, maybe it's time that I compile and all these experiences into something. And yeah, I said it's something been on my mind. And I think that hi Angela. I just think I was just like, okay, it's time. There's enough countries on this list, and I've been to enough places to where people were like, we'll take her word for it. But it was, and I think a lot of people when they saw the post, they didn't read it fully, and we are guilty of that a lot of just kind of seeing something scrolling through. And I got a lot of comments like, "What's wrong with Mexico? It's beautiful. Just don't go on a date there." So, so yeah.
yeah, I think I get that a lot too when I'm traveling because Black women, especially, we want to know what our reception is in other countries. Like, we're always like, but what's it like for you? What are you? And
Exactly.
but there's so many factors. It depends on, like, I don't know. Like, I was in Barcelona in the summer. No, I didn't go on any good dates then. No, it's it's a party city. What? I went on dates.
It it is. I said like you have to set your intention. So I mean, like, how long were you there for though?
I was there for 2.5 months.
Okay, so that's enough
Mhm.
time to like get
Yeah,
into.
I had maybe
And I
one or two decent
okay,
dates. Yeah,
I think the difference is too if you're dating the expat community or dating the local community, because that's going to give you different experiences for sure.
talk about it.
Well,
Like,
well, I mean, like I said though, but like you said, it's a party city. So those people who are there just for the summer, they're there to party. But the people who live there, that's their life. So you're going to have a different kind of, I think, vibe and reception. I would say that when I was in Portugal, I would say that most of the people that I went out with were not locals. They might be living there, but they were either expats or from different countries. And I did comment, and I got into a little argument. We'll say I don't say an argument. I was sharing my opinion. They disagreed about dating in countries where the income is a lot less than what you yourself make or what you may be used to. Because if you're going to a country and you're dating someone and the average salary there, like I know in Portugal, like the average is like they make like 800 or 900 euros a month.
right.
So if you're sitting and it may be fine for them, and I'm not judging anyone on that. But if you're sitting here and you're coming from an American salary, or you may have a better position or more money, and you want to go do things that might not be available to them. So it's not about like people like, oh, you're trying to find someone to pay for your meal. It's like, no, sweetie, I don't need anyone to pay for my meal. I'm here on my own. I was like, but if you're dating me and courting me, I do expect, certain gestures. But at the same time, I think was it Lisa Ray who had that post, and she's like, I don't want to stress you out. The things that I do, on a daily basis aren't the things that you do, and that's okay for you. but it's not okay for me. So, I think that's something, to think about as well.
That's true. That's true. And I think it's okay to have those standards or those like preferences, and I don't I think also in the US we make a crazy amount of money. We
We
just
do. And things are very expensive, but if you have traveled, you know that the wages are very high. Now, I know in some cities the rent is also very high, but if you can definitely take the US income, no matter if you are, a blue collar worker, doesn't matter. I mean, UPS dudes make $100,000 a year. Like that's not that's not a typical salary for Latin America, for most of Europe. So we have a different sense of things, and I think that's a little bit of why a lot of locals they get a little upset with us. I mean, I don't know if you had the water gun experience when you were in Barcelona.
what
Um,
water gun experience.
Oh, the locals are spraying like expats and digital nomads with like water guns because they want them to leave because they're raising the rent and like driving up prices
I was
and
there
whatnot.
in 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah, this has been happening since then.
Oh, oh
Yeah,
no, I didn't know. So they've been spraying
yeah,
with water guns. Wow.
yes, because they're upset because we come in and we're like, oh, great, wine is $6, $7, €6, €7 a glass. Sounds like a value to me.
Yeah,
No, that's expensive for them. So like, and we're happily playing it because we can afford it. But then at the same time, the locals are just like, you're driving up prices, and they're not happy about it. So yeah.
that's fair. I
And
wouldn't.
that's not just in Spain. That's all over. That's I mean, the most recently in Mexico City, they were protesting just like a couple months ago, vandalizing things and spray painting, go home gringos and all these things. And yeah, I mean, yes, like I'm not like we're not like your typical like just white American travelers, but we are American, so we are still in that pot of like individuals that are paying more for rent and paying premiums for things that are difficult for them to afford.
Yeah, that's true. And I think too, especially as Black Americans, it's there's a point where you have to come to terms with your Americanness. Like I think at least this is my experience. I didn't really see myself as an American until I started traveling, and that's how people would identify me, right? And then I'm also coming with USD, and there's this perception that I'm throwing money around. And I remember when I was in the UK, my friends were like, "Don't tip." I'm like, "I wasn't going to." And they're like, "Don't tip. They're gonna think we're rich." I'm like, "I'm not." But I think too, like when we talk about like gringos and we talk about like expats getting a lot of pushback, that includes us. Like we often think
Yes.
that it doesn't, that they're not talking about us. They're talking about us too. We have that mentality where we kind of do throw money around because things are cheaper and or not
Yeah.
affordable.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, we can get a whole bottle of wine. Should we get two?
Listen,
So-
I no, I
yeah.
would do that. I would go to dinner by myself and get a bottle of wine, and the waiter would be like, "Is someone joining you?" I'm like, "No, no,
No,
no."
don't. We listen, we don't judge. Okay.
Exactly. Mind your mind your. But taking all that into consideration, does that change kind of the way you travel? Does it stop you from going to places
Oh
or?
God. No, it doesn't. It doesn't stop me at all. I mean, when I travel, I try to integrate myself into like the local way of life as much as possible. I mean, I speak Spanish and I will speak it as much as I can. I do, I mean, even with like dialect differences and whatnot, I never ask for an English menu. I always try to just blend in, just so I can, I mean, I feel like traveling is about experiences. And if you wanted a hamburger and some French fries, like you can get that at home, that kind of thing. Like, I want to see what the locals eat. Where do you all go? What are you all drinking? Like, bring it to me how you all serve it. And then I'll determine if I like it and we can fix it from there. But like, I think going in with kind of like these notions of, I like things like this, like this, like this, that's great. But we're not at home. So like you can do it at your house. So yeah, so that is I think that's something that, I think is important. And I know that every place but Paris, locals, they appreciate when you try to speak their language. They want to help you. They'll talk a little slower, they'll take time. You say something wrong, they'll correct you. And I appreciate that too. So I know because I speak Spanish, but my Spanish is like the accent is undeterminable. I'll say because I've been studying Spanish since like I was in 8th grade, and it was my minor in college. I forgot a lot. I've come back, but I've traveled so much too. So like a lot of it's Latin American. So people they think they're like, where they always ask me where I'm from. Like they think I'm like Dominican or something of that nature. They hear me speak and my accent kind of sounds a little bit Colombian. And then, but I'm in Spain or I'm in Argentina. So it's just, they're like, who are you? Where did you come
Right.
from? And I'm like, Estados Unidos. They're like, oh, okay. Yeah. So it's normally a shock to them. Yeah.
So you admit to being American, because
Oh, 100%.
I know some people, especially if they can speak Spanish, they'll be like, "Oh no, I am Dominican," or "Oh no, I
Oh, no, I'm not gonna lie, baby. Like, no, no, no. I will tell you the 100% truth, but I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna wait until you ask me or something. But yeah, I speak the truth. I don't. Yeah, I don't. There's no reason for me to hide it at that point. I mean, people still assume like, oh, she's American, but she must have somebody somewhere, from a Latin speaking or a Spanish speaking country, which is also not the case. But yeah, and they're like, oh, because I feel like it's kind of my responsibility to give us a good name a little bit. So I'm like, I'm American. They're like, oh, well, she was American. She came in, she spoke Spanish, she ate, she left, she didn't cause no problems. Maybe they're gonna be all right. So like, I'm going around giving us, leaving a good word for us everywhere. So
right." No, because I think also like I feel like Black Americans have only started traveling within, or at least the ones that I know, I would say within the last like 5 years, 5 maybe 10, if that.
I took my first trip to Europe 22 years ago. So I hit, my mother made sure I hit the ground running pretty early. So we've been, because I think it was a little bit of from her culture, my grandfather, her father was like, they went to Atlanta every year. No knocks to Atlanta, I have family in Atlanta, but that's the only place she went and saw. So she was like, there's no way in heck I'm only gonna let you see Atlanta. Like, and we were from Detroit. So she just made a point, like, I went to Mexico like for the first time when I was like 15 or something like that. She took me to Grand Cayman when I was like 10 or 11. But it wasn't until like college that we went to Europe. So, and we had done like cruises and stuff to the Caribbean islands. So we kept it international, but locally international, I call it. So yeah, so it wasn't until then. And then like, I think I went to Asia for the first time 10 years ago, and I'm going back on Tuesday. So I'm leaving for Japan.
Japan. Oh.
Yeah. And then I'm going to spend a month in Vietnam.
Nihongo hanashimasen ka?
I do not speak that yet, so I'll be learning on the plane. Just give me 13 hours and I will be konnichiwa and everybody. Arigato gozaimasu. Yes.
I have to do more Asia. Okay,
Yeah,
so I want to go to the comments for 1 second.
Mhm.
So I want to say hi to Gallivanting Grandma. I went to her retreat in Colombia. She's still there. Hello. Hi, Dee. Appreciate you on the hair. Thank you. New look. Little tired of the look, but we're gonna see. Crystal Newman says, if I have 2 or more glasses, I'm gonna just buy the whole bottle. The way I pour, honestly,
it makes sense.
it makes sense. I just feel like economically. Yvonne McBride says, I claim African. Pick a country, any country. Well, because I don't know. Like sometimes it's like if they find out that you're American, sometimes they'll charge you a little bit more. So
like on food or like when you're.
I think like maybe when you're out in the market or you're like shopping.
Oh, I will say in Mexico, I got gringo text because there were no signs anywhere, like for how much things were. And I was like, did I just pay $7 for watermelon? I'm pretty sure it don't cost that. Yeah. I'm almost certain. And I was tired. I had gone on this walk and it was this huge market. I had my bag. I was ready to go and I was shopping I was there for a month. And I got back and I started adding up and I was like, They did me dirty. They did me
They knew it.
dirty.
Saw you coming.
They,
The price went
and
up.
I said I was speaking the Spanish, and my, like all my friends say, they say I don't speak Spanish. They say I speak Mexican. But so because yes, I'm very much into Mexican culture, but they saw me coming. I was like, yeah.
Well,
So, but there was no hiding it though. I mean, what am I saying? Oh no, I'm Mexican. They're like, no, you ain't.
yeah, they could. But so okay, so we kind of jumped off on a good foot and started going. But where are you currently? Where have you? Because I think when we connected, you were in. Were you
I
in?
was in Spain.
You were in Spain, and you.
Yes, I am. I'm in Florida now.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm in Florida until Tuesday. Where have I been? I mean, like I spent the summer in Europe. I was started off in Greece, and then I went to Valencia. I was in Greece. I was in Crete to be exact, in Hania, and then I went to Spain. I went to Valencia. I was supposed to spend the second month in Madrid. This the August month, my second month of my 2 month stint in Spain, but then I met somebody, so I came back to Valencia. So
I didn't even ask this question. You just telling all your little business. I, but so
I
okay.
talk about it in my newsletter. So if you subscribe to my newsletter, I say, dating someone. I never give too much information because people be scrolling, they zoom in and stuff. So there's like shadows, there's like an arm, there's like a handheld, but
Are you
that will
for
be all. That's all you will get.
okay? I'm putting Sharita's newsletter in the chat. It'll also be in the description of this video. But she also has you also have a blog called The Modern Woman. Wait.
So my modern woman agenda, that was I started blogging like when blogging was just started blogging, like back in like 2014. And my blog was called Busy Wife, Busy Life. And it started off as the busy woman's guide to food, fashion, and finance. And I started that, and then I got picked up. Like I used to be, I don't know how old this crowd is. There was this blog called Coco Fab back in the day. Do you guys know? Maybe not. So it was a very big publication back, and one of the execs at oh god, like Black Enterprise or something. That was like one of her like ventures, so something to that nature. So they had me as their like trusted partner in like the footer of their publication. So I got a lot of traffic because people were seeing it and stuff like that, because I was new one. And so the blog kind of grew, and I started to get all these brand deals and everything. And I was making like a full-time income. People were like, how much do influencers make? I was making the money. Then, of course, I got divorced, had to rebrand because we were no longer Busy Wife. I changed it over to Modern Woman Agenda. And it was that for about a few years. I wouldn't say put it on the shelves, but it is what it is. There's 400 articles on there. I don't add to it anymore, but there are recipes, there's some life lessons, there's still some finance tips on there. I would say the fashion advice is probably a little old because no one's following fashion advice from 7 years ago, but life lessons and things like that, and like mindset and articles that are talking about those topics, they're evergreen. So right now it's my newsletters where it's at. I send that out every Tuesday, and I love a rebrand. So I just rebranded it. So it's called Après Me, which is like a little take on après ski. Après means after. So it's the era after her. And it's a newsletter for women who are kind of either in their second chapter, who are starting fresh, who need motivation to kind of live the life that they want to live and kind of step away from, what may seem the norm or what you're supposed to be doing. So yeah, so it's a little travel, a little motivation, life lessons. So yes.
Yeah. And I mean, you talked a little bit about the kind of mindset shift you've had to make during these pretty big transitions. What kind of advice would you give to, I mean, I think my audience in the chat right now is, they're a little bit seasoned, right?
Okay.
They're a little bit seasoned. So when you were like, I don't know if people know what this is, I'm pretty sure they'll know what this is, especially Yvonne McBride, published author and writer for Essence Magazine, by the way. But I'm sure they know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But what advice would you give on the kind of mindset shifts that have helped you transition into like this beautiful life? Like I see you online, I'm like, gorgeous. She's goals. How do you get
I
there?
think the biggest thing I had to tell myself was that I'm not late. Meaning, like, after my divorce, I was like, oh my God, I wasted so much time with this man. I'm behind schedule. I'm supposed to be doing this. I'm like, and I was like, what is this like imaginary timeline that I'm putting myself against? And once I got rid of that anxiety of trying to catch up to myself, because there wasn't who am I competing against, I realized that was so freeing. And I think it's not even about a comparison, because I never really, like, I guess, compared myself to other people. But when you set goals for yourself and maybe you haven't reached them, or you have to make a pivot, or things don't go as planned, I'm one of those people, I just get hard on myself. Like, I'm never like, well, she has this. Like, I'm like, no, I'm like, I told myself I would have this, and those kind of things. So I think that was the biggest thing that I had to stop doing, was to give myself some grace and some time, and to approach things, with like, what am I working towards to? I had to ask myself that, because a lot of us, we sit and our wheels are turning and we're doing everything, but what's the plan? Like, what is the goal? Like, what am I late for? Like, I didn't even realize that I'm supposed to be, I'm supposed to already have this house and this and this and this to do what though? Like, so I had to take a step back and ask myself, these questions. And then once you kind of have a better idea of what you're really trying to achieve, like personally and career wise, you like relax a little bit. You're like, okay, things will happen as they should. You realize that opportunities present themselves when the time is right, not when the time you think they're supposed to be.
Mm,
And being open to things as they come. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that's hard to do. Because I
It's so hard to do, and it's so easy to be like, yeah, just do this and you'll be fine. But it took some years to get into that, mindset, and to shift, because there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of little pup. There was a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-doubt, a lot of, like I said, second guessing yourself, and you have to get rid of it. And people are like, "Oh my God, you look so happy now." I was like, "Because I am." My mom thinks I'm crazy, but it's
well,
okay.
they they tend to believe that.
Yeah.
But so how does travel come into play, right? Because so you get this divorce. I mean, you said you've been traveling pretty much like most of your life, all your life, but you get this divorce, you're on your own, which is already kind of scary, and you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go see the world. Bye. Like, what was that kind of conversation like with the people?
It was a divorce that was overdue. So once it finally came, I realized I was in Austin living, and I was like, I don't have to be here. So why don't I just go be everywhere?
Mm,
And then I started, I luckily, I said I did a lot of rebranding, a lot of rework, and I got to a point to where one of my biggest clients that I work with their office is fully remote, and they didn't care where I was. So I was just like, if I don't have to be here, where can I be? And I was like, let me find out. But I needed to take a little bit of a journey. There wasn't really a lot of organization to my initial nomad journey. I was like, I'll just go here. And then what? I don't know. I'll figure it out. And now things are a lot more intentional. I have a community, but I literally just packed up my apartment, and and it was weird, because when I say opportunities present themselves, right around the time my divorce ended up getting final, a month before my lease was up on my place, which to me is an opportunity. And I was just like, "Oh, I'll re-sign my lease. I'll get someone to sublet it." I was like, "No, stop making things harder for yourself, Sharita. Like, this is clearly, I had this idea. The universe was presenting itself in a way that would allow me to do it, and I still was trying to fight it a little bit, because I was scared, So I put everything in storage, and I guess the one thing that was in the back of my head was like, you can always come back. And I never wanted to be the person who thought, man, only if I had gone. So you can always come back, but most times you regret not going, as opposed to the actual chance to go experience something. And then once I did that, it kind of I went to Portugal for five weeks with no plan. And it's funny you say published author. I'm actually writing my memoir now. Yeah, it's called "This Wasn't the Plan," and it's set during those. It's not my full memoir, but it's set during those 5 weeks with like flashbacks of everything that kind of led up to that, and it kind of opened my eyes that this could be a possibility. I can travel, I can work. There are people who do this. I'm not, I'm not like out on a limb. I can build a community. I connected with people. So yeah, and then I just started doing it, and I said I spent some time hopping around. I said to different places without a plan, and then this year, I spent the first part of the year in Buenos Aires. I was there for 3 months. I spent a month in Mexico City, the summer in Europe. I'm going to Asia for the next 6 weeks. I'll be back in the U.S. For a small stint, and then I'm going to head back to Europe this winter. So, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so then how are you like planning your course? How are you routing yourself?
You mean like
Right.
a little bit of yeah, a little bit of me. I'm chasing summer, so like I said, when it's winter, you head south like the bird. So that's why I went to I'm trying to avoid the snow was a little bit, and then I realized once I started connecting with people, there's like this unsung, like, I guess, nomad schedule or calendar, and I'm like, where are you going? Like, oh, we'll be here. And like generally people head south for winter. Some people do go to Europe, but it's either Colombia, Guatemala, Mexico, South America, because it's warmer. You start going back to Europe in the spring. For me, I said Asia was not. It was always something that I wanted to spend extended time there. Just I said I went 10 years ago, but not in the same, but this same part of my life. But I was always worried about meetings and my work, and I was like, I'm gonna have to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning and I talked to my client and stuff. They're like, it should be fine. You just set up your calendar block. And I work more project based. I work in marketing, specifically. My biggest clients in financial services, but I work with tech companies too. I still create content, clearly, but I was just like, you know what, I'll figure it out. And they were super cool about me limiting my meeting hours. And I'm not really client facing that much, so I don't think it's gonna be a problem. So it's like, let's just go and do it,
Yeah.
because why not?
Yes. So you're doing Japan, and then did you say Vietnam?
Yeah, Japan is vacation, so because that's just gonna be like that's like my little bucket list trip. And then Vietnam, I'm going to Hanoi and Da Nang.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, I love that. So you're obviously building community outside the US. How do you go about doing that? What kind of things are you doing to meet people?
I am. This is the only thing I use Facebook for. I would say is yeah. There's anytime I go to a new city or a city I've been to, I connect with. I mean, when I was in Lisbon, there was like Black in Portugal. There's a big, huge group. There's a Black in Spain. But then even smaller cities, there's like I go on Girls Gone International, and you put the city. So Girls Gone International, like Valencia, there's a network there, or Women in, and then the city. I generally try to connect with mostly women, just because I feel like it's just safer. Women are want to support each other, and yeah. So that's really where what happens. And now that I have a larger, because I said, because I shifted my content on social, went from being stationary to traveling. I have now, it's my community online too. Where are you going next? I would love to meet up with you. Things of that nature. Oh, let me connect you with someone I know in this area that might be able to help you with this, or they own a cafe, or go to this restaurant or something like that. So
Yeah. Okay, so this is a question for me. It's not even on my list that I sent over. But so I'm having kind of an issue now where I came back home to Texas, and it's harder to connect with my friends who live here than my friends who are bopping around and who are abroad. Have you found that to be true?
there are a group of friends that are living vicariously through me,
Mhm.
and a group of friends who hop on a plane and meet me when I go places. So there's two, but I wouldn't say connecting because I have such a supportive group of people that are always like, when are you back? Let me know the dates because we can I want to hear all about it. They grab the popcorn, they're ready for it. I will say that I've probably lost connection with some people, but I mean, not everyone is going to be in your life for a lifetime. And so I don't really try to, I said, I don't really try to hold on to things that I'm not pulling people with me. But I think that because of just how I've always been in life, like I'm the person who is like, sure, let's do this. Like they know, like I was like, I moved to New York. I was a model. I was working in finance. I was like this. I was like, let me go here. I moved to Texas. I lived in LA for a little bit. I moved back to New York. My friends, they never put anything past me. So it's like if they know, oh okay, Sharita's doing this. That sounds right. That tracks. That tracks. So I do think this is a little of my internal spirit, and they just know that. But I can see how it would be difficult because I said I talk to some my clients sometimes that they're not my friends clearly, but I'm gonna call and they're like, "What country are you in?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm here in Argentina." "Oh, wow, I should probably get a passport." If you wanted to come to Argentina, you definitely go need one. So, things like that. And it's like the conversation stops a little bit then because it is hard to like for people who can't imagine leaving behind their life, which is fine for some. I mean, I'm not judging, like you have to do what's right for you, whether you have family, whether you have kids, or whether you just don't want to leave. But sometimes that does put up some barriers or it makes it difficult because your life is so far from their life.
Yeah.
And it's a life that some that like I said, they got the popcorn, they want to hear about it, and some are just like they can't imagine what that is like, and they can't wrap their head around it. So you're telling stories and they may be like, and then you just got on a plane and went someplace else. Did. Yeah. So yeah, so I can see how that could be a thing. But it's you can't real there's no real, I guess, fix to it. Just like, just continuing to expand your community and find people that you can connect with, I think is what's most important.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so you mentioned connecting with mostly women when you travel in a friendship way, but you do talk a lot about dating. So, what are some of your safety tips for dating internationally?
Your girl goes on the dates. Yeah. So I'm dating a little more intention now, but just like any country, anything that you do, you have to be smart. I would always video chat with someone before I meet up with them, because I know it's going to sound bad, but when I first started traveling, my cousin used to tell me, please don't get sex trafficked. I was like, I think I'm too old for that.
I
And
felt the
she's just like,
same way. I'm like, they
and
don't.
then she was like, I don't think you are. And I was like, you think? And she's like, oh my God, that's not a goal. I was like, so, you just want to make sure that the person's not a scam.
Mhm.
I find that just other than the possible sex trafficking, that a lot of countries don't have the type of violent crimes that we have in the US. Like somebody may pickpocket you or things of that nature. But, you're walking around Lisbon or, you're walking in, especially in Spain, it's pretty safe, other than, like I said, you may get your phone stolen or whatnot. So yeah, I video chat beforehand. I always go to neighborhoods that I know, that I'm familiar with. I'm never meeting someone anywhere that's not in the main part of town, even if they're local. Like, oh, I know this great spot over here. I haven't been over there yet. Let's stay closer to where I do know, where I know how to get back to my Airbnb or my hotel or whatnot. I have 8 people that have my location at any time. One of them used to work at the Pentagon. I was like, if there's any problem, call this person. They'll send the U.S. Armed Forces. They definitely were not going to send the U.S. Armed
Not in
Forces.
the budget.
But,
Definitely not in the budget.
but I felt like they would. So, but just having, and then I would tell people I'm going out with this person, you know, they're like, I got you. I said, you know, and I say, and I said, I'm a very comical person. I'm like, if I end up in a country that ends in stay and send for help because I'm not supposed to, whether it's Uzbeki, like, or Turkmena, if
Right.
it ends in a stand, I'm not supposed to be there. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to get. There's a woman who is staying in Uzbekistan, a black woman, and she was like, I have to come onto your channel and tell people about this, and I'm like, let the people know, okay? Let them know.
Yeah. I have no desire, you
Mm.
know, goes to her. So, photo,
Yeah. Well,
but
it brings me to
I get a little frozen.
a little bit,
There we go. Okay.
but you're moving.
Okay. My hopefully this, okay.
Okay.
Those are the tips for staying. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let's see. For saying
You froze, but you're. Oh, we lost her. Everybody, she's in the U.S. by the way. Okay. There have been people on my channel. Okay, I do. Oh, there you go.
here we
I
are.
was just saying, there have been people on my channel who have connected from Africa, from pretty much all the continents, and their internet is fine. Sharita is in the good old US of A, and she's frozen. Just to let everybody know. Is she still frozen? I think she's still frozen. On a Sunday, the devil is trying to derail my interview. Everybody watching, please like the video. Clearly, we need likes to just help the energy go back up. No, but that's crazy. I am trying to get someone to come on from Uzbekistan. Apparently, especially with black women, they get a little handsy, the people. So I'm curious about that. And I'm going to ask Sharita about fetishizing, since that is a big concern for especially dating when you are abroad, if she comes back. Let me see. In the meantime, do you guys have any questions for our guests? Put a Q in front of them and drop them in the chat. I like to bring people on here. Obviously, I have my outrageous list of questions, but if you have anything that you want to say, go ahead, ask. Let me go through some of these comments. Ooh. Is that better?
The power went out. I'm in Florida.
What's going on in Florida? Is there a storm? Is there a hurricane?
No, it's cloudy. My light is the power literally went out. I was like, what is happening?
Oh,
I
no.
purposely did this when I came back to the States so I wouldn't have any connection problems. And here I am without power in the
I
good
was
old
saying that.
US of A.
I was like, there are people who have called me from the dark because there's no power in a foreign country. We're in America, okay?
Yeah.
We're having connection.
Yes. So I'm okay. Well, here we are. I think it's okay. Surprisingly, my phone's is doing its job. So
We'll go until we can't go anymore.
shout
Hopefully,
out to T-Mobile. Thank you for sponsoring this segment and keeping the internet going.
I'm gonna clip this section and I'm gonna post it as. Do you have any plans of settling down in a particular country?
So I do. I do want to. It's still in the works, but there are a lot of digital nomad visas available for for I guess anyone. I say myself. I can only speak for myself. In particular, in Spain, you can get a 3-year residency after working for a year. So I told myself I was going to move to Charlotte, and then I told myself I would move to Charlotte. So
Wait.
can you hear me?
Oh, you're breaking
Okay.
a little bit. Okay, sorry.
I know. Yeah. So I'm exploring these visa options that are available to me right now, because staying 3 months is a nice time frame, but it does get annoying when you have to leave, especially when it's Europe. It's so far. I mean, with Mexico, you can stay for 6 months. If you're in Argentina, you only have to leave like for a day, so you can just like go to Uruguay and come right back.
Yeah.
But because Europe is 90 days every 180 days, it does make it difficult. So I'm looking into those options. Yes.
Well, maybe when you go to Asia, because you know a lot of people set up shop in Thailand and Vietnam. So
I I don't think I can be somewhere that's going to take me a day to get home if I needed to get back.
fair.
That's it's one thing to be a flight away. It's another thing to be 12-hour times and it takes a day and 3 flights. Cause right now, like, yeah, so but yeah, I would rather be a little closer.
Okay,
Like, yeah, yeah.
fair. That's fair. So what's your favorite
And I
country?
lost, like I said, I lost the rest of the chat too. If there was other questions, I did not see them because when I came back on, it, I was like, what? Yeah. So my favorite country, I didn't live here,
Hmm.
but my favorite country is South Africa.
Same.
I, I
They have
love,
a
I
digital
love.
nomad visa too, but I think the travel time is probably
Yes, yes. No, I did love South Africa. I was there for like 2 weeks and it's so beautiful. It's just so GD beautiful, I tell you. It was a very eye-opening experience. I don't know if it was just the landscape, the people, the fact that I was hanging out with elephants, the wine. I don't know, but it was pretty amazing. Yeah.
yeah. South Africans are also very nice. Like they're just
Yeah.
so friendly and happy all the time. I don't think I've ever seen like
We showed up to the resort and they're like, "My sister
I
coming." I was
know
like, "Me?"
everybody.
Yeah.
I was like, it just feels nice. It feels nice. But did you date while you were there?
No, like I said, I was only there for 2 weeks. I don't date any place that I'm only there for like a week or two. That's just called a fling.
I thought, well, South African men also don't, they're not attractive to me.
Okay, okay. So I was like, what are we saying? What are we saying?
Other parts of Africa, maybe, but I don't know.
I mean, everyone has their preference. I was not there. I was there with 3 friends. We had this full itinerary. Like I said, it wasn't. It was a vacation. I was there 2 years ago. So when I'm working and living, I approach a country differently when I'm going for vacation. So yeah,
That's fair. That's fair.
yeah.
So like for any woman that might be looking to start her life over, drop everything and leave the country, do you have any advice for her?
I do. I mean, I do have I have a digital nomad blueprint that I put together. It's in my stand store. Um, so, and I approach it not just with like logistically, because it is a mindset shift to because you start second guessing yourself a little bit. Like, is this doable? Can I do this? Can I survive? Can I be in a different country without people that I know and support system? So I think you have to mentally prepare yourself beforehand. I would say one, start traveling solo, because if you can enjoy your own company for a week or 2 weeks at a time, going out to dinner, without someone to refer to on a regular basis. If you travel with your girlfriend, she's not going to be there. So you're gonna have to go out to eat alone, or you're gonna have to sit in your Airbnb alone. And if that is fine, and you're like, okay, this was fine, I can do this, then I can say start thinking about it. But if you've never taken a solo trip, don't plan to be a digital nomad yet. You gotta. I think it's a baby step kind of situation, because you don't want to, just say goodbye to your life. And then I don't like when people are shocked with an experience. I like to ease my way into things, just because there's so many unknowns. So I would say, first start solo traveling. And if it's something to where if your biggest, I guess, fear is whether or not, there's a community out there for you, I guarantee there are people who are living this life, as you know, that will be there to support you. You can ask questions. There's all the information that you can find. But I would say that if you do decide to do this, you're going to start looking at life a little differently. So be prepared, for the perspective change, the way that after spending like 2 months in Spain, they have this thing. And I even told my mom, because she's like a very, like, as soon as you're done with dinner, you wash the dishes, you clean up the kitchen. They're like, no, Sharita. This is time for, they call it sobremesa, is what they do. Like after dinner, you just you sit. You don't go clean. You clean tomorrow. They say don't do something today that you can do tomorrow. That's like, they literally are the put off society. The Spaniards know how to enjoy life. Like 2 hour, I don't know how to get anything done in that country, just to be honest though. But I'm okay with it. It was refreshing. And we're driving around like on the expressway and in the fast lane, going the slowest. I'm having anxiety right now. I'm like, speed up. He's like, why? Sharita, we're not in a rush. We will get there when we get there. Okay. Like, it's like you realize that life is like, you've been rushing through life for what? For what? Like, go faster. Why?
Right. Where are you going? Why do you have to get there so quickly?
Yes. So, and then it's like, we're just on like taking these road trips, pulling off in these little random villages in Spain, names and towns that I've never even heard of. Some of the best food in my life. You go to some no-name town in the US, you're going to find a Denny's. Like you go to no-name town in Spain, you have like Michelin cuisine. You're like, y'all made this? Like, yeah. So, it's just a different way to look at things and look at life. And I said, it's not for everyone, but it kind of speaks to my soul a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think, I appreciate that. I think everything you said is true. I think in the US, we do kind of like, we rush things like, I don't know. I remember I was talking to this guy in Germany and I was rushing him. We were going on a road trip and I was rushing him. And he was like, I was like, let's just stop at a McDonald's and eat on the way. And he was like, eat in the car? Why would we eat in the car? We can sit down and have, he was like, we sit down, we have a meal.
Yeah. Yes. Like yeah. I never ate one thing in the car. I never walked with a coffee. Like that was not a thing. You sit down and you drink the coffee, then you walk.
Right. Why are you walking the coffee?
No. No. So it's like, yeah, walking is walking. Having a coffee is having a coffee. So yeah, it's just the moments. Yeah. So it makes you realize that moments are meant to be enjoyed and not rushed through. And things will get done when they get done. And like I said, I haven't lost any motivation. Like I said, I did a whole newsletter rebrand. I'm coming out with some sweatshirts with some great sayings on them. There'll be the first one is launching. I already have one in my little Etsy store, but another one's launching this week, another one next month. So it's like, I had all these ideas. I think because I wasn't stressed and I wasn't rushing, that my brain had time to think about the things that mattered and not the things that was bogging me down. Like, there was a lot of creative energy available to me because I wasn't like, oh my God, we're going to be late. So life was just happening. And when life happens, your mind is at ease, and it's amazing what comes to you when you're not thinking about all the things that are in the way and blocking your creativity.
That's very true. That is so true. Before our live, I was on, I don't know if you know Exodus Summit, but one of the founders, Rashida Dowell, was having a live, and she was talking about like a lot of people want to leave the US, but they're really worried about money. And I'm not someone who's going to tell you like not to worry about money, but it's cheaper to live abroad in a lot of ways. and it's more affordable. So it's like if you're in the US and you're like a hustler, not the power came back on. I was trying to get us out the door. But it's like if you live in the US and you're like financially strapped, working multiple jobs, trying to make ends meet, if you dropped one of your jobs and saved or saved up a good bit of money, and your idea, that number in your head of like what a good bit of money is, may not be $1 million. It may be just like 10K to last you for a year and you'll figure it out. But then you have that year where you aren't stressed and your brain can work creatively, and you can think like, oh, maybe I'll start my newsletter, maybe I'll start like whatever it is that you do, that you can be an entrepreneur. And it frees up that energy to where you're not like worried about bills, worried about the economy, worried about violence and the a lot of the pressures that we deal with in the US.
And I think one of the biggest thing about money is like realizing what you're spending your money on.
Mm.
Because people spend money differently in different countries, and the things that we are buying unnecessarily can be reallocated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like a lot. So it's like most of my half of my belongings I sold, and I've been living out of suitcases for 2 years with, a couple like larger bags at family members' homes and stuff like that, like swap out clothes. But like I'm not, when I'm away from the US, I'm not shopping on Amazon. I buy what I need. I have what I have, and it's enough. Somehow, as soon as I step back in this US of A, I've got boxes coming from Amazon that I didn't even, I was like, well, I need to order this. I need to order this. Like, why? I had 3 months without any of this. And was I struggling? No, but somehow I need all this now. So, I think it's thinking about what really is important to you. And if you are a designer label baddie, maybe if you were to scale back, that money could go towards your international fund. So it's like, if you don't have it all, and Lord knows we wish we did, you have to decide what's important to you. And sometimes, I mean, for me, that was like, I've never been the bag lady. I've been a let's go. So like, if I need to, cut back on shopping for the latest, looks in order for me to buy a plane ticket, that's what I'm going to do. So that you have to think about the sacrifice you're going to make in order to live the life that you want to live. And then once you're in that lifestyle, those things may not be as important to you as you thought, that you couldn't live. I can't live without this. Like, or can you? You just haven't really tried.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Sharita, I love all of your advice about just life and love and travel. You're gonna have to come back down to the channel. Okay. I feel like we had
I will. I will come back once I get settled in a place, and then we can talk about that journey and what that looked like, and give you an update. And then when I finish my memoir too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
But
for chatting with me today. I really appreciate
no, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And like I said, if you follow me on Instagram, subscribe to the newsletter, and if you have questions about, digital nomading, I've got a whole guide there for everyone who wants to take the leap. So I appreciate you, and thank you all for tuning in. Yes.
Thank you. So links to everything will be in the description of this video. I've dropped them down in the comment section. Follow Sharita on the social media platforms, okay? Follow her. Follow our girl. Follow me too. I'm gonna I think I'm gonna start doing weekly lives again, just because I miss talking to everybody. Hiatus is over. We are back. If you are not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. If you have not liked this video, like this video, because who knows who I'm gonna bring next onto the channel. Okay? Click the notification button so you are notified whenever I go live. Thank you again. I can't thank you enough, Sharita, for coming on and imparting.
I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. It was late. The power went.
Girl,
Issue.
No, we don't know these things. I don't know how things work. It's fine. But thank you so much. Thank you guys all for watching. I'm back. All right. Now see y'all later. Bye.